So let's get this straight. Okay, so Shaggy's a stoner. Fred is a straight white male. Daphne's a bit of a skank, and Velma's a dyke. Great, got it all. Everybody's got their character traits that's out there. And that's all incredibly important because, again, we need to continue to sexualize children's characters. That's more important than just a goofy cartoon. Oh, okay. Can't wait for the Flintstones reboot where Fred and Barney, they don't have wives. They just both live together and somehow, bam, bam. It's not just the child, it's also the sounds that come out of their bedroom at night. Scooby-Doo has long been famous for its big reveals. Yes, would have got away with all that scissoring if it wasn't for you damn kids. The gang of amateur sleuths dramatically cornering criminals and pulling off their masks at the end of each episode. Well, now guess what? They can pull out the anal beads from Velma's new friend Courtney, who instead of the mystery machine likes to drive a Ford pickup truck and wears a lot of flannel. But now, a revelation just might be the most seismic in the animated show's 53-year history. Well, actually, when they added Scrappy-Doo for a while, that was a pretty seismic disaster, but alright. It's just now they have somebody different to blame if any of the carpets end up getting chewed up. Lead character Velma Dinkley. Okay, I used to watch not Charlie Brown. Oh, I watched that too, but I used to watch Scooby-Doo when I was a kid, much younger, okay? This is decades ago at this point. I didn't know her last name was Dinkley. Is that going to be changed to like Clamley or something like that? Anyways, is a lesbian in the new Warner Brothers movie Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo. She'll take trick and also a treat. But it's weird, she'd go door to door trying to collect things, but she wouldn't ever have a bag. It's just odd. With the fictional character fawning over a fellow female. Not Daphne, though. Interesting. Variety confirmed trade magazines talking about sexualized, the sexual preferences of children's cartoon characters. Okay. Yes, talked about the characters, cartoon characters' queerness. In a new article citing excerpts from the flick released Thursday. In the new film, Velma swoons over sassy character Coco Diablo. Great, she's revealed to be a lesbian after lusting over the devil. Don't read into it any further. No subtext to glean from that, now is there? At one point, the orange bespeckled brunette is so enamored by the character that her trademark glasses start to fog up. Oh, and of course, of course it is. She has to be fucking lusting over a lesbian of color, too. It never fucking fails. And remember, guys, Warner Brothers, that's the anti-woke company, right? Ugh. God, I can't wait for the Christmas special, where it's revealed that Shaggy wasn't actually smoking on what you thought he was all these years, and that it need to find a Christmas miracle to cure his case of AIDS. Fans of the cartoon have long speculated and assumed that Velma is gay. No, they've always thought that she was kind of a dumpy tomboy at best, and then, again, didn't give a fuck at worst. Like, I can also remember, I might have gone to the cinema to see the live-action films. I definitely remember going to Rogers Video. If you're from Canada, you know where I'm talking about. Going down there and getting it, at least the first one, and then there was the reveal. They gave Daphne a makeup or something like that. Makeup. Or makeover. That's the proper terminology. And she was super fucking hot after that. But again, nobody was thinking that, oh boy, I wonder where she gets her rocks off. Again, they were just trying to figure out if it was the old man down by the well who was the one who was behind all the different ghost stories. Like, just fucking stop. More recently, filmmaker James Gunn, who wrote the early live-action films, yeah, there we go, in the Mystery Incorporated series, supervising producer, Tony Saravone have backed up said rumors, though neither made the apparent on-screen. Yeah, exactly, because again, those were early 2000s, I think like 2002 for the first one, and I don't think I watched the other ones because they just got even worse, and it's not like the first one was really anything to write home about. Fans flocked to Twitter to celebrate the fictional characters coming out, with one writing, Velma being gay is actually massive. Yep, very massive, I'm sure. The, fourth, fifth most important character in the Scooby-Doo series? We're at the point in time when this major character full of decades-old history and fans gets to actually be a lesbian, and that's just another part of her canon now. Sometimes we need to celebrate these wins. I'm sure it definitely doesn't contradict, the 50 years of history that's out there where she's ever lusted after a guy. No. Definitely a rug muncher now, 100%. All just to woo the attention of Twitter troglodytes who are now currently dropping this topic and spurging out about what Elon Musk is doing. Oh my God, they're getting, I'm feeling personally threatened right now, and I don't know where to go because Tumblr is not as viable. Make sure when I leave this wretched right-wing platform, you follow me on my MySpace account. I'm just like, oh, fuck off. But this one's funny right here. A second supporter claimed, "We have won. Velma is a lesbian with impeccable tastes." Yes, I'm sure you have won, and I'm sure you were definitely going to be watching Trick or Treat, Scooby-Doo Mystery. That's what it was called. But nobody's going to care about this, okay? It's just like every single time. Hey, guess what? Superman's gay now. Cool. People get interested, maybe, kind of, in the announcement. But then does it ever translate to sales? No. Oh, guess what? Robin's gay now. Well, we could already kind of glean that from way back in the cut. But hey, oh, see? Ooh, look at everybody. You're all just rage-filled and hate-filled that are out there. Everybody's doing all the coverage out there because guess what? This long-established straight character now likes dudes. And it's like, okay, cool. So you get a little bump for right now, and then you just end up tanking your property because you just want to get involved in identity politics as opposed to making quality stories. Great, wonderful, fantastic. We just talked about this not that long ago. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, okay? And the Bros, the Rainbow F Slur rom-com that did what, $1,800 at the cinema? It's not because they didn't have a gaping, widespread opening in theaters across the country. 3,350 theaters, okay? And again, nobody went out there. But again, if you don't like it, you're just simply homophobic. And here's what the Hollywood Reporter, not exactly a slumming rag. Well, it kind of is, but it has respect in the industry, right? When Bros bombed, star Billy Eichner put the blame on the audience. And now it almost looks like the people who understand that, oh fuck, the money's not quite rolling in like we hoped or needed it to. So maybe we need to have a point of inflection right now. Or maybe it's just Richard Newby. I think we've used an article of his before. But anyways, I want to take a look at this because it's interesting. At least by the headline, maybe they're starting to realize, maybe these industry insiders are starting to get a little bit of sentience and starting to understand that, oh fuck, maybe after all of this time, blaming the audience or calling everybody who detracts from our pet projects, okay, the people who don't want to be indoctrinated with all of these fringe ideas, and that we have tangible successes on the other side just to show you that, yeah, no, the will and desire to go back to the movie theater is there as long as you put a good story out there. Maybe we're the baddies after all. Fucking weird. Most people don't want to go to see movies perform poorly at the box office. I think it's funny, especially when just such an obvious ploy, such an astroturfing. No, everybody needs to go see Bros because it's very stunning and brave to have a gay couple on screen. And it's like, no, that's fine. And I'd argue that most people, despite the go woke, get broke. No, it's go woke, or it's get woke, go broke. You fucking boomer. Christ. Social media rhetoric from a vocal minority. Vocal minority? No, it just ends up tending to prove itself correct, but okay. But again, these people just live on social media in their own little echo chambers. The same people that say, if I can't come into your space, that just means that you live in an echo chamber. No, it's because you guys argue in bad faith and fuck off, stay over there. We'll just go ahead and curate our reality appropriately so that we're setting ourselves up in the best position to succeed, and your input is fucking negligible in returns and just hurts everything in the grand scheme of things. You just say that because you're homophobic. Okay, great. Ad hominem attacks. Love it. But yes, see the value in consuming and identifying with stories about people they may not look like, or may not look like them or share their lifestyle. Yeah, again, I'll tell you something. I watched Mean Girls a lot, mostly because I found Lindsay Lohan super fucking hot back in the cut. And I'm not a 5'2" redhead with double D titties, okay? I can appreciate that, okay? Or lifestyles. The best comedy show ever was the Chappelle Show, and I'm not a black guy who was raised in the hood, so yeah, no. You know why I liked both of those things at the time? Because they were well written and they were out there to entertain people, not to push an agenda. Kind of weird how Hollywood in general has just kind of deviated from that path in the past couple of decades. So it's disappointing when a film like Bros featuring an underrepresented population doesn't succeed. There's a reason why we did that Scooby-Doo story to begin with is because I would argue, okay, that 10% of the population is vastly overrepresented in films, in media today to a gross extent. Haven't seen the numbers run on this one, but it seems like every single major franchise, whether it's in print, whether it's on the small screen, whether it's on the big screen, there's always a fucking gay character or 2 or 3 or 5 at this point. Gay or questioning or trans, they're all fucking in there, and they take up a minority, a vast minority. Not saying they should be totally eradicated from the fucking screen, okay? If the story calls for it, or if it's completely ancillary to the ultimate plot, that's totally fucking fine. It doesn't much matter. But it's an obscure lifestyle for a reason. It's obscure because the entire point that people are on Earth is to procreate, and if you engage in that type of sexual behavior, you're not helping society at large. And for the longest point in time, human beings were just trying to survive in order to create a better day for their children. But now we've got to a point of supreme decadence where people don't feel like they need to do such. Bros, different way to spell bros now, I guess. A dismal opening of just 4.8 million. Fucking oof. Christ almighty, I'm not much of a creative writer, but I bet you I could pen a more compelling story. And a string of eyebrow-raising tweet from writer star Billy Eichner. Yeah, where he said that the reason, because we talked about this earlier in the week, the reason that the film didn't succeed that well is just because everybody's homophobic. It's like, no, 95% of gay people didn't turn up to see it either. 500,000 people did. Sucks to suck, I guess. Has sparked conversations about why the well-reviewed gay rom-com failed. It's only well-reviewed by a bunch of critics, the same critics that would go out there and tell you that, no, actually, Cuties isn't a disgusting pedo film. It's actually a very introspective look into how wrong sexualizing children are. Cool. I can tell you that murder is wrong without actually committing a murder and filming it for telling you that murder is wrong. Fucking retarded. And if audiences should feel obligated to make a trip to theaters to prove that they want to see inclusivity, you're inundated with that message every fucking waking moment, okay? Whether you want to see it or not, it's fucking there, okay? They got an entire month, for Christ's sakes. And to be fair, I am a quarter Ukrainian, and you've kind of had the better part of 2022 dedicated to hashtag stand with Ukraine, so to say that 10% of the population isn't properly represented without having an entire month dedicated to them, I gotta call cap on that. Eichner, frustrated by the opening, turned heads when he tweeted Sunday, straight people, especially in certain parts of the country, flyover states, red states, okay? Because again, these guys live in insulated coastal bubbles. They never see anybody outside of that. They always assume everybody else lives in the same conditions, but realistically, shit couldn't be further from the fucking truth. Didn't show up for bros. Oh, man. Followed by everyone who isn't a homophobic weirdo should go see Bros tonight. And guess what? Nobody did. The tweet had not been well received. Eichner's tweets felt like a finger wagging followed by a moralistic confrontation, rather than an invitation with a bit of a warning. If you compare them to Viola Davis's more polite request last month to see The Woman King, which again is just another rewriting of history, and you can't really call it whitewashing when it's just a bunch of black slavers trying to justify slave trading, but then just not really wanting to talk about it. It's kind of odd how that shit ends up going on, okay? You want to be woke, but only so woke. Not that far. No, we let the narrative get away. Fuck. If you don't plop down money on opening weekend, you're not going to see black females leading a movie again. I accept your terms, and I will raise you on that. That's not even true, because again, new Black Panther is going to be coming out in the middle of November, so you're going to be seeing a black female lead. And even Viola Davis, and I think, what's the other one? Oh, Lasagna Lynch. She's in that as well, and she's going to be in fucking Black Panther as well, so. But I don't know how that's somehow better than just an outright threat. If you don't see it, you're homophobic, and she's just, I don't know, putting the fate of black female actors in everybody else's hands. It's the exact same shit, my guy. I'm empathetic to the situation. I'm not. Make good films. People won't give a fuck who's actually starring in them. And just tell your actors to shut your fucking yaps. Stop trying to guilt people or force them to go see a fucking film that they don't want to see with a storyline that makes no goddamn sense. Write better stories. People will fucking miraculously show up, sorry. Because how many people were scratching and clawing at the fucking walls to see a sequel to a movie that was referred to as the gay volleyball flight or Air Force movie for 35 fucking years, and then it came out and it made over $1 billion. Why? Because it was good. But no, did Tom Cruise take to social media, or did it come out right before? Did he have a little bumper before the movie started to play? No. Hello, fellow white people. Glad you were here. Glad you see straight white men on film so you can enjoy the rest of your whiteness for the day. No, he didn't go out there and say that. He instead did the opposite, okay? I heard the bumper that was before the video that ended up playing in the theaters. Thanks, everybody, for coming to the cinema. I wanted this to be played in the cinema, for everybody to experience it this way. This has been a passion project for a long time, and I'm glad that you're here to watch it. He was thankful for the audience without any expectations that this film would be such a runaway success. Imagine that. You treat your customers and your potential customers with civility and friendship, and then they return it in kind. Fucking weird, right? So no, I'm not empathetic to Billy Eichner or Viola Davis by trying to guilt people into the cinema. Fuck you. Make better films. It sucks to be passionate about something and then not see that passion met by a willing audience. No, again, you're writing stories for a fraction of a percentage of people that are out there. That's the authors, and those are the scriptwriters' intentions right now, okay? Listen, I want to tell this gay story that's so gay that it's not going to appeal to anybody. But then at the same time, okay, you want to interject all these politics into things that actually are successful? Take a look, okay? Does the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now look anything like it did in Phase 1? Does Iron Man 1, Thor 1, The Incredible Hulk, which I still like, okay? I got to go back and watch it if I could properly defend it. And even the original Avengers movie, does that look anything like the slop that's going out there right now? Compare the writing of Edward Norton's Hulk to that of She-Hulk right now, and then just go and see if there's a disdain for the audience and an obvious agenda that's going on in the latter. But no, it's just people just don't want to see who they are and what they are represented on the screen, and that's just a bad thing because I'm just passionate about forcing this fucking propaganda into everybody's faces one fucking inch at a time. Just stop it. You're not trying to tell good stories. You're trying to preach to the public about how bad they are, and if you don't go see it, you're just a terrible individual. Several critics suggest that people are turned off by a line in the trailer that said straight people had a good run. Oh yeah, imagine that. People aren't coming to see this by just automatically knowing that it's not made for them. Hey, straight people, you had a good run. Now take a look at these two fun guys holding each other's asses walking down the street. You wouldn't see that with a straight couple in any fucking advertisement out there today. Stop it. Though I imagine that any straight person offended by that joke would have never seen the movie anyways. No, exactly. And it's probably not a fucking joke, okay? I haven't seen this advertisement. I don't go out there to see advertisements. I don't even go see watch films today's day and age. But no, if you write that in there, it's antagonistic and people are just going to be, well, no. If you think that straight people had a good run and that you're offering an alternative that involves a whole bunch of butt sex and ecstasy, no thanks. You can just go ahead. You guys just go ahead and enjoy the future that you want to create. We'll be over here, I don't know, procreating the future. What Eichner is overlooking is a significant population of the LGBTQ community didn't show up either. 95%. We went over it on Monday. It's fucking hilarious. Whether it was because the film didn't appeal to a millennial and Gen Z audience. No, that's exactly who it's supposed to appeal to. The already indoctrinated, okay? The ground is fertile right there, and then they get implemented and indoctrinated with these ideas over and over every single day inside all the public school classrooms. All the social media that's out there, TikTok, Instagram, all of the shit, a full court press of ideological subversion, and then they don't show up to it on their own free time. It's almost like it's contrary to the innate biological programming that's in there. Weird. Or because it opened in October alongside Paramount's well-received horror film Smile. Yes, exactly. If you're going to go down to the theater and you have a choice between a movie that is supposedly supposed to make you laugh, okay? You got a comedy and you got a horror film, okay? Those are two very different audiences, okay? But yeah, no, everybody who wanted to go in for a laugh was just so taken aback by just the need to fear or feel afraid. What are you talking about? These weird justifications are a bit off for my tastes. Bros didn't make a compelling case for the movie that was a must-see in theaters, even if people do agree that there should be more LGBTQ plus rom-coms, but that's comedy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you don't make one that's so unabashedly gay, maybe if you make one that's funny, how about that? Try working on the script next time. Oh well, there won't be a next time because your movie didn't make any money. Aha, aha. Well, Bros doesn't feature any major stars at the as box office draws, and there's another failure that's out there because again, more prominent gay films that are out there kind of had heavy hitters. The one that immediately pops to mind, poor phrasing, I guess, Brokeback Mountain, right? The gay cowboy movie. That's the way that it was marketed, and guess what? It got a whole bunch of Oscar nominations. A bunch of people went to go see it. It was popular for a long fucking time, and that was all the way back in the mid-2000s after all. But guess what? It had what? Anne Hathaway, Heath Ledger, Bubble Boy, Jake Gyllenhaal. It had heavy hitters, okay? And I've heard from people who watched it and said that, yeah, it was actually a decent film on top of it, you know, if you just got past Heath Ledger spitting into his hand and then just showing Maggie's brother a good time. Well, yeah, it doesn't feature any. Oh, yeah. The film is produced by Judd Apatow. Ugh, the cancer that killed comedy. Fuck him. And directed by Nicholas Stoller. I don't know who the fuck that is. The former set the standard for comedies in the 2000s with Anchorman. Haven't watched it. All I know is I've seen the clips and I think that it's overrated. That might be sacrilegious, but not as hot as my take on 40-Year-Old Virgin. Fucking ruined comedy forever. Hate that film. But again, most of the jokes that are in that one wouldn't fly today for Judd Apatow fans. Because I remember, what is it, Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen sit down to play PlayStation 2 while they're waiting for Steve Carell's character to get dressed or something like that. And then they have the whole, you know how I know you're gay, sequence of events. That wouldn't fly today. But even still, fuck that film. It falls apart in the third act. Fuck you, fight me. Oh, Superbad, most overrated film of all time. Bridesmaids, didn't see it. Because again, oh, maybe this is another nuclear take. Melissa McCarthy is not funny. He's never been funny. Why would I go see why would I torture myself with somebody who I've never, ever, ever found comedically relevant? And the latter directed comedy hits such as Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Never seen it, but the only good thing that came out of that film is how based Russell Brand is right now. And Neighbors. The sequel has Chloe Grace Moretz in it, so I guess that's kind of a win. Oh, but it still has Seth Rogen. Fuck, Seth Rogen in the mouth with a rock. It's easy to understand why Universal and Eichner, best known for his roles on television. You'd have to point him out because I don't know who the fuck this guy is. All I know is that it sounds like Michael Eisner, the former CEO of Disney. Outside of that, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Best known for a role on television, may have expected an open weekend similar to Apatow's R-rated rom-com Trainwreck starring Amy Schumer. Oh, the one that was so well received, it's most well known for having a theater shooting before its opening day. Right, yeah. Another love him or leave him style comedian. She wasn't up until that point because, again, she was still a darling of the scene and everybody was just kind of overlooking her joke thievery. But then that's when she decided to saddle up right next to her cousin or uncle, Chuck Schumer, and then just went full SJW and then put on about 50 pounds and and a reputation for television. The film opened to $30 million in 2015, but it's not 2015 anymore, and $4.8 million is a far cry from 30, so aha. It's not abundantly clear when Lionsgate's Seth Rogen, Charlize Theron led a rom-com, Long Shot, underperformed at the box office. Yes, because Charlize Theron isn't the Charlize Theron of old, and Seth Rogen is unfucking likable. My initial distaste from him from way back in the cut is finally starting to manifest, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's really an awful human being." If Rogen, a 21st century comedy icon, and Theron, a beloved Oscar winner, lonely old spinster is how I'd like to refer to her as, couldn't sell a movie, what hope does anyone else have? No, I don't know. Again, like, Charlize Theron's been in a bunch of very profitable films. So has, even my distaste for him aside, Seth Rogen. If they're in good films, people will go see them. You're missing the fucking point here, my guy. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because this video is long-winded and it's my distaste for Hollywood, for how much I used to love media that was out there. I would watch all this type of fucking nonsense, but there used to be this thing where movies could just be bad, okay? They could be enjoyable, but they could just be absolute dog shit. Like, just take a look at Steven Seagal's category of films, okay? Tell me the difference between what? Fire Down Below, Under Siege 2. What's that one he did with DMX? Was that Exit Wounds or some shit like that? They're all the fucking same, even if you take a look at the box art that's on there. Steven Seagal has one hand inside of his 3/4 length duster. There's an explosion in the background and a sweaty white girl in the foreground, okay? And then it's a 3-word title, okay? Above the law. Fire down below. Out of sandwiches. They're all the fucking same, but then again, they weren't trying to push a message. They weren't putting ideology above escapism, and that's what people are sorely lacking today. While I'd argue that most of the time consuming media without doing anything creative or profitable at the same time is a gigantic waste of your time, I can't deny how intrinsically popular and necessary for a lot of people out there entertainment is. So again, Hollywood's just going to continue to flop and flounder. There's plenty of articles that are out there just saying, I don't know, man, finally attacking your audience isn't a good idea. And everybody who works in Hollywood, they're just all burnt out. But they're forgetting the central core issue of this stuff. Anything that feminism, wokeness, whatever the fuck you want to call it, intersectionality, neo-Marxism, okay, put whatever label you want on top of it. But at the end of the day, you dedicate your stories for a decade about that shit. As a wise man once said, everything that goes woke turns to shit. And these people are never better off in the aftermath. And that's what we're seeing right now in Hollywood. So now is a great time, if you are creative, to write your own characters, make your own stuff, create your own entertainment and information out there. Because again, mass media has long given up on you, but that taste and that desire is still there. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.